The Odia, known classically by various names, are an Indo-Aryan ethnic group of eastern India. They constitute a majority in the eastern coastal state of Odisha, with minority populations in Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Karnataka, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. The vast majority of the Odias are Hindus and are known for the history of sun worship. Odisha is home to some of the oldest sun temples in India, including Konark. There are small Christian and Muslim minorities. The term Odia, while sometimes used to refer to any inhabitant of Odisha, more precisely refers to the ethnic group which natively speaks the Odia language. The Greek writers like Ptolemy and Pliny have referred to the Odia people as Arites in their accounts. While many of Munda people have adopted the Odia language, they maintain a distinct identity and there is no discernible admixture between them and the Odias. Etymology. The earliest Odias were called Kalingas. Utkals was a later name. The word Odia has mentions in epics like the Mahabharata. The Odragas are mentioned as one of the peoples that fought in the Mahabharata, a testimony to their Aryan roots. Pali literature calls them Odakas. Ptolemy and Pliny the Elder also refer to the Oritas who inhabit India's eastern coast. The modern term Odia dates from the 15th century when it was used by the medieval Muslim chroniclers and adopted by the Gajapati king. History. The Odias are distinguished by their ethno-cultural customs as well as the use of the Odia language. Odisha's relative isolation and the lack of any discernible outside influence has contributed towards preserving a social and religious structure that has disappeared from most of North India. The earliest Odias were called Kalingas. A later name is Utkals. The Kalinga people were first to have established sea route trade links with Sri Lanka and Far East like Java, Bali, Sumatra, Borneo, Malaya, Burma, Thailand. Prince Vijaya along with his 700 followers were exiled to Sri Lanka by his father Singbahu, contemporary of Lord Buddha and King of Singapore of Kalinga. They gave rise to Sinhalese race later on. The Sailendra dynasty of Java was founded by Kalingan dynasty of Saledvarvas and Kalinga people in Java and Bali. The Khmer Empire of Cambodia was later founded by Jayavarman II who was from the court of holding a second Kalinga state founded in Java Island. The suffix Varman in the Khmer dynasty rulers can easily be traced back to the Nala dynasty rulers of ancient Odisha. A Kalingan prince also known as Maga invaded the island of Sri Lanka with 24,000 soldiers and ruled it for nearly 2 decades. A Kalingan dynasty of rulers closely related to ancient Odisha formed the ruling Kalinga dynasty in Sri Lanka that traced its roots to the prince Vijaya of Kalinga. Nisan Kamala of this dynasty was a prominent king of this dynasty in Sri Lanka. Noteworthy rulers like the Jaina Emperor Karakandu and the Buddhist king Brahmadatta strengthened the region as one powerful political entity. A part of Odisha was first conquered by the Nanda dynasty ruler Mahapadma Nanda in 4th century BCE and later by Ashoka of Mauryan Empire around 261 BCE for brief periods of time. The resulting bloodshed was the catalyst that led to the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka eschewing warfare and converting to Buddhism and spreading Buddhism outside India. Emperor Meghavahana era Karavela, a Jaina ruler, conquered vast territory in Odisha. Kalinga spread from river Ganges in the north to river Godavari in the south. He seems to have captured vast area of Upper Punjab too. Successive emperors like Satrabhanya, Langula Nrsinga Deva I and Kapilendra Deva Rutari hailing from different dynasties captured vast territories and formed huge Odisha region. Concentric empires. The 4th quarter of the 1st millennium saw the rule of Bhaumakara dynasty on Odisha in which a successive line of 8 queens reigned over the land despite the availability of male heirs. This seems to be a unique occurrence of attaining heights in the field of women empowerment in India and the world history. Rajendra Chola, a Tamil king of Chola kingdom, conquered and sacked 1019 CE Odisha during his expedition to the Ganges. This led to the decline of the ruling Somavamshi dynasty and the rise of the medieval powers in India like the Eastern Ganga and Suryavamshi Gajapati dynasty. Odisha remained an independent regional power till the early 16th century AD. It was conquered by the Mughals under Akbar in 1568 and was thereafter subject to a succession of Mughal and Maratha rule before finally falling to the British in the year 1803. The Odias were basically a peasant and warring class of hardy people that came under the rule of the British. The Odia Piker militia was renounced and the most feared fighting force of eastern India during the times of the Gajapati rulers. Hard impositions of taxes by the British, administrative malpractices by the pro-British Bengali landlords or officials, and stripping the rights of local people along with suppression of native landlords in Odisha led to India's first organized revolt against the British in the year 1817, popularly known as Piker Bidroha Rebellion. Battle-worthy leaders like J. Rajaguru and Buxi Jagabandhu along with the Pakers and tribal conscripts fought gallantly against the British, and won for brief time, declaring the independence from the British authority. A series of rebellions and uprisings led by numerous brave Odias like Tarpan Rebellion, Banipur Rebellion, Sambalpur Uprising, Gumshorkond Uprising, Kond Rebellion, Bhuyan Uprising, Ranipur Praja Revolt, etc., followed in Odisha, making it a difficult task for the British to maintain absolute authority over Odisha. While under the Maratha rule, major Odia regions were transferred to the rulers of Bengal that resulted in successive extinction of the language over the course of time in vast regions that stretched until today's Burdwan district of West Bengal. The British applied their divide and rule policy and subsequently transferred Odia areas to the neighboring non-Odia administrative divisions that contributed to the extinction of Odia culture and language in the formerly core regions of Odisha or Kalinga. Following popular moments and rise of consciousness for Odia identity, a major part of the new Odisha state was first carved out from Bengal Presidency in 1912. Finally, Odisha became a separate province and the first officially recognized language-based state of India in 1936 after the amalgamation of the Odia regions from Bihar-Orissa province. Madras Presidency and Chhattisgarh division was successfully executed. 26 Odia princely states including Saraikela Khaswan in today's Jharkhand also signed for merger with the newly formed Odisha state, while many major Odia-speaking areas were left out due to political incompetence. Demographics. It is impossible to arrive at a precise figure for the Odia population. The census of India 2001 pegged the population of Odisha at around 36 million. Around 8 million of these people belong to the scheduled tribes. Therefore, the Odias number around 27 million. Smaller Odia communities may also be found in the neighboring states of West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Andhra Pradesh. Surat in Gujarat also has a large Odia population, primarily from the southern district of Ganjam that works in its diamond industry. The sex ratio is around 970 women per 1,000 men, high by Indian standards. Position of women in Odia society. The position of women in the Odia society has been always held with high value. Besides the historical depiction of queens surrounded by female bodyguards on the temple arts, Odia women are accustomed to follow traditional ways along with acceptance of modern culture. Odia culture celebrates female concentric festivals like Raja Kudrukuni Osa, Sudasa Brata, Kumar Purnima, etc., which is unique in its nature compared to other cultures in India. Remarkable Odia women like Sarala Devi, Rama Devi, Kuntila Kumari Sabat Malati Chowdhury, Pravavati Devi, Annapurna Devi, etc., played a pivotal role in the national and freedom movement of India. Nandini Sartapathy became the first female chief minister of the state of Odisha in 1973. New generation of young women in Odisha pursue higher education and are career-oriented in nature. Culture. Odisha has a rich indigenous culture that is heavily influenced by the original tribal inhabitants of the land. It is also remarkable for its almost total absence of Islamic influence, largely owing to its relative isolation from the Indian mainstream religion. Odisha is one of the most religiously homogeneous states in India. More than 95% of the people are followers of Hinduism. The practices of the Jagannath sect are extremely popular in the state, and the annual Rath Yatra in Puri draws pilgrims from across India. Under the Hindu religion, Odia people are believers of a wide range of sects with roots to historical times. Before the advent of the Vaishnava sects, Purushottam Jagannath cult in Odisha, Buddhism and Jainism were two very prominent religions. According to Jain Ketra Samasa, the Jain Tirthankar came to Kopartik, which is now Kupari of Bales War district, and was the guest of a person called Danya. The Kshetra Samasa says that Parsanath preached at Tamralipti of Kalinga. The national religion of ancient Odisha became Jainism during the time of the Emperor Karakandu in the 7th century B.C. The Kalinga Jinasana was established, and the idol of Tirthankara Rishabhanatha, then also known as the Kalinga Jina, was the national symbol of the kingdom. Emperor Marmekvaharanakara Vela was also a devout Jain and a religiously tolerant ruler who reclaimed and re-established the Kalinga Jina that was taken away as a victory token by the Magadhan king, Mahapadhyama Nanda. Buddhism was also a prevalent religion in the Odisha region until the late Bhumika dynasty's rule. Remarkable archaeological findings like at Dali, Ratnagiri, Dalitgiri and Puspagiri across the state have unearthed the buried truth about the Buddhist past of Odisha in a large scale. Even today we can see the Buddhist impact on the socio-cultural traditions of the Odia people. Though a majority of Buddhist shrines lay undiscovered and buried, the past of Odia people is rich with descriptions about them in Buddhist literature. The tooth relic of Buddha was first hosted by ancient Odisha as the king Brahmadatta constructed a beautiful shrine in his capital Dantapura of Kalinga. Successive dynasties in ancient Odisha's Kalinga-Tri-Kalinga region were tolerant and secular in the governance over all the existing religions, with Vedic roots. This provided a peaceful and secure environment for all the religious ideologies to flourish in the region for over a time period of 3,000 years. The founder of Vajrayana Buddhism, King Indrabhuti, was born in Odisha along with other prominent monks like Sara, Luipa, Lakshmanara, and characters of Buddhist mythology like Tapasu and Bahalika were born in Odisha. Following remarkably logical arguments put forth by many scholars and intellects, some believe that Gautama Buddha himself was born in Odisha. Hindu sects like Shaiva and Shaktism are also the oldest ways of Hindu belief systems in Odisha, with many royal dynasties dedicating remarkable temples and making them state religion over the time of rule in history. Lingaraja Temple and other temples temples in Bhubaneswar are mostly of Shaivate sect, while prominent temples of goddesses like Samleswari, Taratarini, Mangala, Budi Thakurani, Tarini, Kichakeswari, and Manikeswari across the Odisha state are dedicated to the Sakti and Tantric cult. The Odia culture is now mostly echoed through the spread of Vaishnavite Jagannath culture across the world, and the deity Jagannath himself is deeply rooted to every household traditions, culture and religious belief of Odia people today. There are historical references of wooden idols of Hindu deities being worshipped as a specific trend of Kalinga region far before the construction of Puri Jagannath temple by the king Chola Gangadeva in 12th century. Lately converted Christians are generally found among the tribal people, especially in the interior districts of Bood and Kandharmal. Around 2% of the people are Muslims, most of them descendants of migrants from North India and elsewhere. The larger concentration of the minority Muslim population is in the districts of Bhadrak, Kendrapada and Cuttack. Architecture. The Odia architecture has a rich and unique architectural tradition that dates back to at least the 6th century A.D., from the times of the Saledbhav dynasty. For the times of the Somavamshi and the Eastern Ganga dynasty, the Kalinga architecture form achieved prominence with its special style of temple designs, which consist of 4 major sections of a religious structure, namely Mukha-jula, Nata-mandapa, Bhoga-mandapa and Garbhagriha. The examples of these marvelous structures are prevalent across the several hundreds of temples built across the state of Odisha, mainly in Bhubaneswar, which happens to be known as the Temple City. Puri Jagannath Temple, ruins of the Konark Sun Temple, Lingaraj Temple, etc. Other living examples of ancient Kalinga architecture are the Odias expressed themselves in a variety of ways. Odissi is one of the classical dances of India. The applique work of Pipili and Sambalpuris are notable. The silver filigree work from Cuttack and Patachitra of Raghurajpur are some really authentic representation of ancient Indian art and amp culture. Odias were the master of swords, and they were having their own form of martial arts, later popularly known as Bika Akada. Entertainment. Odias are entertainment-loving people, and there are various rich traditions of entertainment in different parts of Odisha. Ancient traces of entertainment can be traced to the rock edicts of Emperor Kharavela, which speaks about the festive gatherings held by him in the 3rd year of his rule that included shows of singing, dancing and instrumental music. Ancient temple art of the Odias gave a strong and silent testimony to the evolution of Odissi classical dance form over the ages. Bargarh district's Dana Jatra, which is also believed to be world's largest open-air theatre performance parlour, and Daskathia Jatra or Odia opera, etc., were some of the traditional ways of entertainment for masses that survive to this day. Modern Odia television shows and movies are widely appreciated by a large section of the middle-class section of the Odias, and the continues to evolve at a rapid rate with innovative ways of presentation. Music and dance. Odissi music dates back as far as the history of the classical Odissi dance goes back. At present, the Odissi music is being lobbied by the intellectual community of the state to be recognized as a classical form of music by the Cultural Ministry of India. Beside classical Odissi dance, there are some other prominent cultural and folk dance forms of the Odia people that have followed different parts of evolution over the ages. Odissi Mahari, a predecessor of Odissi dance that was mostly performed by the Temple Devadashi community, are royal court performers. Gotipua. The folk dance forms have evolved over ages with direct tribal influence over them. They are listed as below. Chow. The Odia Chow dance is a direct result of its ancient martial traditions which are depicted in dance performances. Though Chow is basically an Odia art form, it is also performed in West Bengal. Saraikela Chow and Mayabhanch Chow are the only two Odia variants that have survived over time with its originality. Ghumra dance is a direct result of the ancient martial traditions of the Odias when Odia Pakas who marched into the battlefield are rested on the beat sand tunes of the Ghumra music. Dark Eye dance. Though this dance form has evolved from tribal dance forms, it shows a complex mix of the themes taken from various religious texts of Hinduism. It is very popular folk dance form of Western Odisha. Jodi Sanka. It also derives itself from the martial traditions of ancient Odisha, and the performers use only the music generated from the two conchs held by each of them. Baagh Nak. Modern Odias have also adopted Western dance and forms. Remarkably, the Prince dance group was declared as the winner of TV reality show India's Got Talent in the year 2009, and Ananyas Ritam Nanda was declared as the winner of Junior Indian Idol in the year 2015. Cuisine. Odia cuisine is a reflection of the state's location. Many dishes of Odia origin are mistakenly considered to be Bengali in the rest of India. Seafood and sweets dominate Odia cuisine. Rice is the staple cereal and is eaten throughout the day. Popular Odia dishes are chana jali, chana poda, chana gaja, dalma and pakala, makabasara, manshitakari. Seafoods like chingudi tarakari and kankada tarakari. A standard Odia meal includes pakala, badichura, saga baja, macha baja, chuan baja, etc. Pithas or country cakes are an integral part of Odia traditional life. Any Odia festival is incomplete without a variety of pitha, as traces its origin to the Odia culture and been adored by neighboring states. Festivals. Odia people are festive in nature, and a wide variety of festivals are celebrated throughout the year, for which it is said that there are 13 festivals in 12 months of a year. Well-known festivals that are popular among the Odia people are the Ratha Yatra, Durga Puja, Nuikai, Pushpuni, Puji Unita, Raja, Dola Purnima, Hana Sankranti, Kartika Purnima, Boita Bandana, Kudrukuni Puja, Tarpoi Osa, etc. Notable people.